podcasting from Northwest Pennsylvania. You're listening to the GenXtra Podcast, a show about Generation X, movies, technology, weird news, and anything else they feel like. Join them every Monday morning. Now, here's your hosts, Dave and Joe.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the GenXtra Podcast. Breeze.
Hello.
We missed last week.
We did. You were recovering from our hot sauce extravaganza.
It was Easter.
Oh.
Yeah. We had too many family things going on, and I should have given a heads up on the prior episode, but I did not. So I did have a few people text me like, "Where's the show?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, we took a holiday break."
Yeah, I was in the same boat.
Yeah. So no, it was a welcome little break, and yeah, but here we are. We're back, and we also have a third seater for the show. Steve, welcome, buddy.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on again. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
It has been a while. Yeah, if you follow the show for any period of time, Steve has been on a few different occasions. Early on, he was like one of the within the first 10 episodes, I think you were on. Somewhere in there, the guest host from the West Coast.
Yep.
California Steve.
That's how my kids refer to him.
No, that's how they know him. It's California Steve.
Yeah. California Steve. And you make video games. That's their headcanon, is that you make video games.
I'm kind of the artist formerly known as the guy who
that's right. Yeah. Not so much anymore, but that was a large part of your career, though.
It was, yeah. It was definitely an interesting part of my career. And actually, I think I told you I went back and listened to the episode where you guys had interviewed me while I was still working in the game industry. Mm-hmm. And
oh no,
yeah, my perspective has somewhat shifted since then.
How do you feel now about it? Well, I don't want you to screw yourself over if someone ever listens to this. I'm like, I hate it.
Oh no, believe me, if that was going to happen, they probably read it on LinkedIn or something.
That's true.
I mean, overall, it was a good experience. It was educational, but it wasn't quite the fantasy I'd hoped it was going to be. And maybe it was a little bit. My expectations were built up pretty high since it's something I wanted to do for so long. I mean, since I was like a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of saw the industry for what it was too. It felt less like a creative industry, if it ever was that at one time. And it felt more like manufacturing. It felt like
you got quotas and times and schedules. Get it out.
Yeah,
get it done. Get it out.
Yeah, I mean, listening to our CEO talk about how there's 97 products in the queue, and it's like these are games. These are supposed to be fun and creative and art, right? And when you're talking about them, it's like we're shipping toilet paper,
right?
And it just. It lost its charm. And then I also found that, I mean, a big part of enjoying what you do is enjoying the people that you work with.
Mm-hmm.
And the teams I was on, I did work with some great people, but I also worked with some people that had difficult personalities. And
I think that goes with any job, honestly.
It does, absolutely. But I noticed, at least it was a first experience. It was a new experience for me to be in the game in an industry where egos were so over the top sometimes. So
everybody walking around with a puffed up chest.
yeah. Because they worked on something that became a hit, right? And it might have been a hit 20 or 30 years ago, and they're still walking around but
that's their badge of honor.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fine to be proud of your accomplishments, but when you go around and you act like your way is the only correct way to do things just because you had a hit 20 or 30 years ago, for one, you're stifling creativity. And two, technology has changed a little bit, especially in the realm of games in the past 30 years, So what worked back then may not necessarily be, the best approach or relevant in the modern day. So
you mentioned the artistry behind it. Do you think some of those large personalities, artists get that way, right? I mean, and it is art. It is art to it, but you can get that artist ego, that auteur ego. I mean, I'm at a high level, I'm even thinking of John Romero, right? I did Quake and Doom, so therefore I am a god amongst men. And then 20 years later comes out and makes Daikatana, and it completely craps the bed because an ego doesn't make good art, and the world moves on. I wonder. I'm just internally like wondering if the artistry behind that might even drive some of that puffed chest ego personality. I don't know what your thoughts are. If you agree or disagree with that, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. And well, what's interesting though too is I saw this kind of ego in designers. Designers are kind of more, I think, more closely related to. I mean, we have actual artists too, but the difference is game artists are generally creating content, right? The real, I think, the real imagination and creativity comes out of, I mean, every department, but mostly out of design, right? When you're talking about video games, so that's where I saw the ego. But I would also see it carried over into engineering as well, and actually art. So you had people in all three categories that, like Dave said, had their badge of honor and carried it with them for like 20, 30 years. But things have changed. Yeah. And it also comes down to how you treat people too. I mean, it's still at the end of the day, even if you have 30 years experience with something, that shouldn't really dictate how you treat your colleagues.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't treat them like pieces of shit or like they're lower than you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to turn this into a mega nerd show, so we're gonna we're gonna continue moving on. I'm glad that you have escaped the grasp of video game making. And what are you doing now? Like exactly? Like I know you got a new job and I know where you're working, but what do you do?
Yeah, it's funny you said escape the grasp because I tell everyone now that I quote did my time.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Well, now I actually work on infrastructure and build systems and cloud compute for a digital media company. And I will be honest, like I find that far more interesting than anything I did in the game industry. And again, that's probably because the industry turned into, more like what I felt was more like manufacturing.
Well, dude, they pump games out like so many and so fast, or at least they try to be fast. But yeah, like back in the day, it was like this new game would come out and everybody would be like crazy about it because there was so much passion and effort that went into it. And then, a year later, like some other game comes out. Now it's like there's like a game a week. It seems like a game a day just popping up everywhere. So yeah, I think with the idea of them just pumping it out, they've lost a lot of the whatever the magic sauce was that used to be in video games.
Yeah, and you have to look at sequels as well. I mean, back in the 90s, if there was a sequel, maybe there was like a 2, Descent 2, StarCraft 2, Warcraft 2, But now, games like, NBA, NFL, whatever, I mean, they're up to like 25, because they just have an iteration every year. Now, those are sports games, understandably so. They're going to have sequels every year.
Sure.
But then you have games like Call of Duty, who back there in the 2000s, I mean, it was pretty groundbreaking when it first came out, but now there's like, I don't know, a dozen sequels to Call of Duty.
Oh, at least, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's how it turns into more of a commodity versus like, a form of entertainment that has, something unique to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to what I'm doing now. The reason why I enjoy what I do now a lot more is because, for one, it's a lot more involved with AI, and it's a lot more transferable, I would say, between different industries. So what I'm doing now, like I can definitely carry, through my career to any company. I mean, I actually really enjoy the company I work for because, again, I work for great people now. I have a great team that we all, get along very well.
It does make a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. And also the pace at which I get to work at now has room for creativity, has room for, building something that's more focused on quality versus just quantity.
So nobody's standing behind you, like just cracking a whip on you. Get it done. Yeah.
We set ourselves goals and targets, obviously, because we're going to release something, but we do it, with the sense that we're going to build something, good, a quality product versus
something realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Again.
You derailed it, Dave.
I did. I know. I was trying to scooch
You
us
asked
out
me,
of.
man.
I know. I did. It was my fault. It's my fault. I wanted to hear it, but like I just know, like I can see my wife watching this part or listening to this part, and she's gonna be like, "But you guys went to a real nerdy place, didn't you?"
I honestly, I was sitting in rapt attention. Like this is fascinating.
I
And
know.
I haven't made the time to hang out with Steve online as much as I used to. So like it's great for me to catch up. So I'm just like trying to be like, okay, we got to get the show going. But I really just went up in my head. I'm going, okay, when can I follow up with Steve? I want to hear more about how
right here.
Anyway, we could table that. This is not. No, I'm gonna make time afterwards, though.
Yes.
Also, to be honest, I'm glad you gave me the time because as I was thinking about coming back on the show, I was thinking that I really wanted to at least say that piece about my experience with the game industry versus what I'm doing now. So thank you for letting me share that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Again, I'm happy that you are enjoying your new career, your new job. Because I know that you were struggling there for a bit with the other one. But yeah. So let's. What are we doing the show, Breeze? We got a few things here going on.
Yeah, we do. We got we have our national days coming up. We got some great ones this time though, because it's been lackluster the past couple episodes where it's been like, I don't know, there's like two things. So there's some good ones. And then we've got some odd news here. We got some interesting facts from California from our excellent guest host today.
Oh, I'm throwing these facts at Steve because I'm not even sure if he'll know these are facts.
Oh, even better, even better. I should read the board. All right. So, and then whatever else comes from that, there's a little bit of a surprise trivia coming up as part of the national days today.
I'm so excited about that.
We're going to incorporate that a little bit here. We're going to gamify national days, which is fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump us into national days, Breeze, and let's see what we got going on there.
Absolutely. Okay. So we've got date of recording here, Friday, April 25th, is National Hug a Plumber Day.
Hug a plumber?
You heard that right? Hug a plumber.
Why though? Why can't it just be like National Plumber Appreciation Day? Why you gotta go hugging them? That's weird.
It's so funny to me. It's so funny. I love it. That's why I love National Days. It's just the absurdity here.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Have you guys ever done any of your own plumbing?
I tend to not do my own plumbing. No.
You haven't plumbed anything ever, Breeze? I've
done some bathroom sinks.
Okay, that's something.
Yeah.
Former Joe didn't even know how to do. I don't know if he knew how to do it, but he didn't do it. He didn't do his own bathroom sink.
No, I've replaced the U-bend under a bathroom sink at my first house.
U-bend.
House.
Oh, you mean the trap?
Yeah, the trap.
Oh, okay.
The P-trap.
Yeah, the P-trap, S-trap. Yeah.
Yeah.
The U-bend.
Sorry, I call it a U-bend. I'm not good at it. I just I know how to disconnect the bottom of the sink and replace the piping. And
I'm glad to hear that.
It rusted through. Honestly, I was trying to clean it out, and literally I
was broke.
It busted right through the trap. Like as I poked down with one of the little grabbers to kind of like plastic, right? Like I forget Drano makes them or whatever, but you can snake down in there with this little plastic like toothed device, and you can snake it down. And as I did that, it pushed right through the bottom of the trap and just busted out.
Well, there's your problem.
There's your problem. There's a hole in your pipe. I replaced it all with plastic piping instead of rusted metal piping. So that worked out well.
Steve, have you had experience in plumbing? Anything like that?
Well, not so much.
I hooked up a garden hose.
But, if clearing clogged toilets counts as plumbing,
it definitely does.
Ample experience.
Oh. You're proficient with a plunger?
Oh, I mean, if you're going with Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hour rule to master something, I am like a grandmaster at unclogging toilets.
Yeah, I've popped a toilet like off the seal from plunging it before.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because a lot of people don't know that, like, when you have to, when you're in that situation and you have to go to town with the old plunger.
Yeah.
A lot of people make the mistake because they ram that thing down. They're trying to drive air down, which can work. But really, the best technique to do is you get it seated, you push down slowly, and then you give it a reef up, and you pull really hard, and that will unclog the toilet. Yeah,
that's an interesting technique. That's not my technique, but continue. I'll tell you my technique.
I'm not sure if I want to know your technique, but
I want to.
Yeah, but no, that's the way to do it. But like, I got a really good suction on it one time, and I reefed up on it, and yeah, it popped the wax ring underneath.
Dang.
Oops.
There is a technique to it though, because you want to clear the clog, but you don't want to splash the water all over the place. You know,
yeah, I'm not afraid of that. I'll fling it everywhere.
You just okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, I try to do it very cleanly. You know, so I go in slow, I push it down slow, and then once it's seated, then I kind of like increase in vigor. But in a very controlled way. So I'm not sloshing the water all over the place. And you kind of have to listen to the toilet. The toilet speaks to you. Right?
Okay,
It tells you when it can breathe again, and when you hear that sound, yes, then it's time to remove the plunger, and usually the water will just immediately just drain, and that's when you're good to go.
So yes, perfect. Yes,
I agree with this because that's very similar to my approach as well. I despise the idea of any of that water sloshing onto my bathroom floor, so I'm very, very careful and cautious about.
Well, you guys need to get a little braver.
Yeah, it's so brave. We're gonna rip the toilet off of its seal. Yeah, that sounds like a brilliant idea, Dave.
I got a mental picture of Dave going in there and just like.
You'd be like, "Is this video in fast forward?" No, that's his actual speed.
Yeah, man. Oh my god! All right, what's the next national day?
Monday, April 28th is National Superhero Day. A little more normal in the national days there, so that's kind of fun. Everyone likes a good superhero.
I've asked this question before on the show, and I feel like my answer changes every so often. If you were a superhero and you had to pick, what would your superpower be? It can be a made-up one, or it can be an already existing superpower. Go ahead. Think on it for a second.
I don't have to think. I already know the answer to
what's
this.
What's yours?
Teleportation.
I know. It sounds so good.
That's absolutely like top of the stack for me. I never hesitate on that. That's always my answer.
Yeah. Steve, do you have one? What would you always want to be able to do, like as a superhero?
Honestly, I've always really admired the Hulk's powers. I think it'd be awesome to just instantly get ripped, and just be impenetrable to like bullets and be able to
like Superman.
Jump. Well, I mean the Hulk too,
right? But would you want to would you fancy yourself a Hulk, or would you just want the power?
I just fancy myself a Hulk. I mean, I don't actually really care how strong I'd be. It's more.
You just want a Hulk out. You want to be huge.
Mold into the Hulk out and be huge and be ripped. It'd be pretty cool. But I have to agree with Breeze. Like teleportation is probably closer to what I want now because I'm very impatient. And I just want to get where I'm going. So
it would be great. I think I've always said mine would be like telekinesis, where I could move stuff with your mind. Not even because it's that practical. I can get up and just grab something, but I think just for a party trick, it'd just be fun to do. And anybody that says invisibility is just a pervert.
Interesting theory.
Yeah, it's the perv power. Why else would you want to be invisible? I mean, you could rob a bank, I guess, but maybe that's just where my mind goes.
That's so funny. Meanwhile, I'm picturing you just using your telekinesis to actually lift the toilet with telekinesis instead of with your plumbing power.
Oh, there you go. Pull the clog out with your mind.
There you go.
Unplug the toilet telekinesis. That's it.
The telekinetic plumber. There we go. That's your superhero, right? I'm reminded of what was it? Movie featured Hey Now You're an All-Star. What was it had Ben Stiller in it? It was the campy superheroes.
Oh, the Mystery Men.
Mystery Men.
Yeah.
I'm like Mad Men? No, that's the ad agency. Mystery Men. I'm just picturing that like the shoveler.
Right. Yeah.
You're like the telekinetic plumber.
Right. I will unclog your toilet with my mind. All right. What else is on this list?
We have coming up on Friday, May 2nd. So later this coming week is National No Pants Day. So
That's a day?
It is National No Pants Day.
Why is that
Friday,
a day?
May 2nd.
Why is it even a day?
Because, which is worse, hug your plumber or no pants?
No pants.
Well, you can wear shorts, right?
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't think about that.
Well, you think everyone's walking around like Donald Duck?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
I intentionally see Steve got there. I intentionally didn't tip that part. But yes, it's like skirts, dresses, kilts. It's not long pants. National Not Pants Day. Now, interestingly, in Britain, this would be no underwear because they call underwear pants. It would be no
They call them
trouser
knickers.
day. Knickers is another, knickers.
No knickers day.
Pants, no knickers day. That would be. I'm wondering if that comes up as no underwear day. We're gonna move on before someone slips up on that one.
Mhm.
Let me go back to telekinesis. I just want to add one thing because Debo was talking about a party trick, but I was thinking, I feel like you were saying you wanted telekinesis because you didn't want to get up to get stuff. So it's like the ultimate, like lazy, superpower, right? Because you could be sitting at your desk and I'm just picturing you like opening your mini fridge with your telekinetic powers and pulling out a beer
100%.
and opening it.
Yeah.
You never have to get out of your seat.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course I would do that, but it would just be fun. What would be more fun is if you're like, hey, like, I'm going to grab another beer and I'm like, hang on. And I just do it from right here. Like, that would be fun. That's the party trick.
That's a party trick.
Now, granted, yes, I would abuse it all by myself as well, but it would just be fun to do.
I have to
It's
say,
like
I'm
magic.
a little frightened of you as superpowers, man. That's getting a little disconcerting.
It's fine.
Anyway,
What was that last National Day again? Oh, wait, what was it?
No Pants Day.
No Pants Day. Okay.
Not Donald Duck Day.
I think that
not Donald Duck Day.
yeah, they should rephrase that or something. Like, just, I guess where my mind went was just zero bottoms, like just nothing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just
does it have to
nothing
do
on
with
bottom.
the invisibility and no pants?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're getting an idea where your mind's at, dude.
Absolutely.
Do we have
And then
another
we
day?
have,
That was like 3 or 4 already.
Yeah, I know. We've had quite the same day as No Pants Day. Interestingly, Friday, May 2nd, is International Harry Potter Day.
Oh,
So I guess you could wear a Hogwarts robe with no pants. I guess that would
Mhm.
qualify for both holidays. I don't know.
yeah, you
Just
could.
You
Yeah.
could.
Steve, did you ever watch the Harry Potter movies?
Oh yeah, I watched all of them.
Okay. And Breeze, you said you have too, right? Yeah. No, yeah, you have.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. We
Absolutely.
did one. Actually, there was something Harry Potter related on a national day. I think it was like the Harry Potter Houses Day or something.
Yes, a couple weeks ago we did have each of the houses had their own national days. So
Yeah.
this is International Harry Potter Day. I don't know. I can't recall now. I'm gonna have to go back and listen if it was International Day last time for each of the houses. But actual International Harry Potter Day is
Steve, what house?
Friday, May 2nd.
What house would you have preferred to be in if you were in at Hogwarts?
Oh man, I mean, of the ones I actually remember,
We can remind you.
I think I would have to go with Gryffindor just because they were like the good guys or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be
Although I
as
guess-
a Slytherin or a Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff.
Okay, not Hufflepuff.
See,
Definitely
why
not.
Hufflepuff is the worst?
I love it.
Nobody
People
wants to be
"Would you-"
Hufflepuff.
People are like, "Which would you rather be, a Slytherin or a Hufflepuff?" They're like, "Slytherin."
Yeah. Yeah, keep me out of Hufflepuff.
Well, I do think having Severus Snape be the head of the house would be kind of cool. Especially if it was actually
Alan Rickman, right? Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
the legend. Cool. And the last but not least, April 26th. We're gonna go back a few days. It's tomorrow, day of recording.
Yeah.
Alien Day, the movie
Okay.
Alien,
Oh,
not Alien,
This-
not other Alien. This is Alien Movie Day.
This is great. I will celebrate this somehow. I am so excited for Alien Day. And
Now you know.
you teased a little bit earlier about a little surprise at the end of the show.
Yeah, we can do an alien themed surprise at the end of the show if you want. We could do it now. We could do it later.
Oh no, we'll wait.
Okay. Oh, we'll wait. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
We'll save that for the end. So yeah, that's a
sorry.
good list of national days.
Yeah, they stepped it up lately. It's been a little lackluster.
I have to say my favorite is probably Hug a Plumber Day. You got to.
Yeah. I get that. I don't disagree. I think that's a definite good one. Gotta go do some plumbing and give myself a hug.
Yeah, yourself a hug. Let's see. All right, I'm googling real quick here. Breeze, you're faster on Google.
Okay.
So I'll tell you here in just a second. All right, so we're gonna jump into the next segment here, which because we have Steve on the show, and Steve is not originally from California, but he has resided there for the past 20 years?
16
years. All right, I was close.
Yep.
I found a website that says 12 fun facts about California that will blow your mind. We don't have to do all 12, but I thought it'd be fun to take a look-see and see if you were aware of any of these.
I'm curious. Yeah, I haven't read anything about it, so I will be delightfully surprised.
The first one is stupid. It says California is the home, I'm assuming the origin then, of wetsuits, Barbie dolls, and fortune cookies. That's dumb. I did not need to know that. And I don't know why it's at the top of this list. But
Fortune cookies,
which seems weird. Are there a lot of Asian people in California?
Oh, that's an understatement.
Okay, all right. So there is. All right.
I mean, I would assume based on the proximity to, over the Pacific Ocean, it would make some sense, I guess, to have that culture.
Well, in LA you have, Koreatown and I think Chinatown in LA. And
there's probably a huge diversity of ethnicities in California.
Oh yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Everything out here. But yeah, there's definitely a prominent Asian presence out here.
All right, the next one, Breeze, what I'll need some Googling on.
Okay.
This next fact says that there are more people in California than in Canada. Is that a fact?
I would say that's true.
Is that true?
I believe it.
Canada is massive, but it is also a humongous portion of it is just like woods and just forest. But I want you to look up the population of Canada and the population of California. I want to see how close they are.
So I recently, as I'm Googling this, so the population of Canada is about 40 million people.
Okay.
It is not as populous as you think. And I learned that recently when certain elected leaders were talking about annexing Canada. Oh, no, the latest I'm seeing is that California is 39.4 million people. So actually,
you know what? They
that's
lost,
because I thought it was 53 actually.
They lost a lot of residents in the past 5 years.
I'm checking sources. There's a lot of sources all over the place here.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that moved to Texas from California because of the housing costs and stuff.
Oh, that's right.
I want to. It goes in the tune of 5 million people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
well, I don't know.
What's funny about that is people move. There are cases of people moving to places like Idaho and Texas, but still keeping their California address, I guess, so their employer would still think that they lived in California, which is some people got away with for a long time.
Oh,
then you just have it forwarded.
Well, the reason why they did that is because obviously, if you look at salary adjustment versus cost of living around the country, people were moving from, Orange County, for instance, where the cost of living is extremely high, but the salaries are adjusted to compensate for that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Moved to Idaho with that same salary, and now they're, living like a king out in Idaho, where cost of living is probably 35% cheaper.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, actually.
All right.
He's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna try that."
Yeah, until your company catches you.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, before we jump in this next fun fact about California, we're gonna take a quick piss break. Someone has requested it, and we'll be back momentarily. All right. Here we go. All right, piss break's over. Everybody feel better? Everyone's good?
Much better.
Okay. All right, so back into our fun California facts. So this one says the weather in California is perfect for avocados and wine. Have you seen an avocado farm down there?
No, I've never seen an avocado farm. I'm sure they exist, but
they're probably very Southern California. If I had to guess,
that's where I live. But
why that? Have you not seen one? Maybe they're not as prevalent as I thought they were.
Well, I think if you aren't really looking for one, it's not like they're advertised there's an avocado farm right here.
I guess I don't even know what an avocado tree looks like.
I was gonna say, is it even gonna look? You see a vineyard because they're all in nice, neat rows.
Right.
How would you even spot?
Well, and people go wine tasting. People don't really go avocado tasting. So.
Oh man, I would. I love avocados.
How do you like your avocado?
You asking me?
Either one of you.
Oh, go ahead, Breeze.
I could do it sliced sometimes on in something, but I prefer it in guacamole.
Yeah.
That is my
It's the only way I'll eat it.
Mm.
Yeah, mashed up with spices in it.
yup.
I really like sliced avocado.
Oh, it's
Mhm.
gross. I mean,
No,
good for
same.
you for enjoying it, but I think it's gross.
I'm gonna go buy one like after the show and just eat it.
Oh, God.
Oh, I was so hungry. It sounds so good right now.
That's horrible.
I'm telling you, man. You take some sliced avocado,
Mhm.
put it on a piece of toast.
And that's it?
Mhm.
No. Dice up some tomatoes, and then drizzle some balsamic on it.
Now
and
you're
just a pinch of
changing it.
salt.
Now you're changing it. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying it's actually a really good snack.
That sounds fine when you put tomato and balsamic on it. But I'm just thinking, like, just avocado just sounds gross to me. I know people that would just do avocado like toast with just that. And it's disgusting. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Californians are nuts for almonds. Is there a thing like, does that happen? What is that?
That's I don't know. Maybe they are. Yeah, but
Is people going like banana pants for some almonds around you?
yeah, I haven't seen anything like almond day or people dressing up like almonds on the street or anything
Okay.
like that, but sure. It's
Oh, there's probably a National Almond Day. We'll get to it someday on the show.
I'm sure there is. All right. So here's one that I found pretty interesting. I'm gonna see if you can guess. You're not looking at the list, are you?
No.
Okay. California has a lot of earthquakes. It says on this list here how many it has on average a year. Do you know how many? Can you take a guess?
Oh boy.
Mm.
Maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50.
Okay. Either you're way off or this list is way off. It says there's over 100,000 earthquakes that occur in California each year. I mean,
Wow.
they must be like registering like these little microquakes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put in perspective, right? Like how what are they counting as?
What constitutes an earthquake? Like,
I mean, if they're 0.00001,
quake. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Somebody dropped something on the floor, like quake.
Yeah. Well, fun fact, it's interesting you brought that up because I think it was just maybe last week or the week before we had a 5-pointer out here and I felt it. And it got my heart rate up. I'll tell you that. Amber Alert went. It's funny too, because an Amber Alert went off and the Amber Alert was warning that an earthquake was coming, but I got the Amber Alert in the middle of the earthquake. So it was a little.
I don't think they can predict them that quickly.
Well, you'd be surprised. Some people did get the alert before they actually felt it.
Oh, no
Yeah,
shit.
It depends on your proximity, I guess. But yeah, it was quite unnerving. And my immediate reaction, and I don't know if this is the right thing. Maybe this is just from growing up like in Tornado Alley. But my immediate reaction was to get under my desk, which I'm not exactly sure that's the right thing to do. An earthquake, you would think maybe you should just run outside. I don't know.
Was like shit falling off your shelves and stuff? Was it that bad?
I mean, I don't really have too many shelves for shit to fall off of. But
okay, well, I mean, you know what I mean. It was like stuff rattling in your house.
It was just shaking. Like I don't know how to explain it.
I've only felt an earthquake once here in Pennsylvania. It was probably in like late 90s, 99, maybe 98. And I remember I was sitting on the edge of my bed playing my guitar.
Yep.
And it, like, I didn't know what it was at first. Like, my bed was moving, and I actually looked around because I thought maybe I'm like, who? I thought like a friend came in and was like shaking my bed. And it was really weird. And I remember like everybody, after it happened, like I poked my head out my bedroom window on the second floor. And like all the neighbors are coming outside. Everybody's looking out their windows like, what was that? It was pretty wild. Do you remember that earthquake, Breeze?
I was at work. I was a courier for a law office in Erie at the time. And I was in the law office. I was picking up some papers to take to the courthouse. And all of a sudden, building, you get that shake. And it was like, but it was weird because you're in Erie and it was like, you don't expect that stuff. And one of the paralegals was like, is that the wind? And one of the lawyers goes, we're in a brick house, idiot.
Right.
Like, wind doesn't shake brick. And we realized it was an earthquake. But interestingly, I was giving my friend a lift on the way, and he didn't feel anything because he was in the car. And the shocks in the car,
right? Yeah,
they
probably would have absorbed
he had
it.
no idea. It was so mild he had no clue that there was even an earthquake. So he's still kind of bummed out. He's like, I missed it. Like, okay.
If I remember correctly, I think that one was like around like a 2. Like it wasn't a very it was
Something
low.
like that. Yeah,
So
very.
I can imagine, 2.5 times stronger. What you felt, Steve, was probably definitely pretty jarring.
It was, and it wasn't just like for a second or two. It probably lasted about, I would say about 10 seconds, which isn't a long amount of time either. But when everything's shaking around you and your mind immediately goes to, okay, how bad is this going to get?
Yeah, exactly.
It was bad enough that the cats actually got pretty freaked out by it. So that was interesting.
Well, I'm glad you and the kitty cats are okay.
Speaking of earthquakes and happening in Pennsylvania, it reminded me of something. I swear I think I was in the late 90s the early 90s or maybe the late 80s, because I'm pretty sure I was in elementary school. But I swear there was a story about like a power plant or something that melted down in Pittsburgh, and it created this giant shockwave that kind of shook the entire Western. Do you guys remember this at all?
I do not remember that one.
Okay. I've never gone back and looked it up, but
it sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know what it was.
I remember being in class that day, and all of a sudden the whole room just shook very violently. My first thought was that there was like some kids either on the top floor or something, and they were all stamping their feet at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I come to learn out later that it was legitimate. It was either an earthquake or it was a shock wave from some like explosion or something.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I had something to add to that, but yeah, I don't remember what happened there.
Maybe I dreamt it. I don't know.
But I mean, I remember hearing about an explosion like that, but I don't know if it was in that time frame. Anyway, moving on to the next thing. We'll do a few more of these, and then we'll look into this trivia game we're going to do. Do you know the state motto for California, Steve?
Man, if anyone out here is listening to this, they're going to be like, man, what's this guy doing out here? Okay, I know that our flag has a bear on it.
Okay.
The state motto, I do not know what it is. What is it?
Eureka. That's your motto there in California.
Huh.
I'm assuming for the gold. Yeah.
I had no idea. Wow, thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah. Well, now you know.
Now I know.
What's Pennsylvania? It's something weird. It's like, oh my gosh.
The motto?
Yeah, the state motto.
Well, that changes from time to time. Like, doesn't it change?
I don't think so.
Or is there an official one?
No, I think there's an official state motto.
There's
something about prosper.
There's the slogan.
What's the slogan?
Well, I don't know what it is now. It's usually what they put on the highway signs, right? Hang on. Pennsylvania motto. Oh,
or like the license plates?
Yeah, virtue, liberty, and independence is Pennsylvania's state motto.
That's the motto. Okay. But what's the other one? It's like, like on the sign, it's like welcome to Pennsylvania. And then it has like the slogan under it.
Pursue your happiness.
That's it. Yep, that's it.
It used to be, this is my favorite story, and I forget when it was, in the 2000s. It used to be memories last a lifetime. And then they got sued by the strip club in Pennsylvania who had a trademark on that phrase.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. Dead serious.
A strip club had the wherewithal to get a trademark.
In PA, wow. They trademarked their slogan, and Pennsylvania, as the state, didn't do its diligence when they were researching slogans for the state, and then they had to pay for memories last a lifetime. So
look at us learning all kinds of stuff today.
It's one of my favorite Pennsylvania stories. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Eureka! All right, we'll do one more here. This one has me very interested. So if I ever do make my way out to visit you, Steve, I need to check out one of these 300 ghost towns that exist in California. Have you been to any of these? I'm going to guess no.
I have. I mean, I've driven all over Southern California and a little bit up through like the middle on both, I've driven up through the middle on the coast, through the middle to the farm country, and then also through the Sierra Nevada. So I've probably driven through one, but actually, wait a minute. Now that you mention it, I remember one being up by I think by Yosemite, somewhere around Modesto, I think.
Okay. I'm assuming like old like gold mining towns or something, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I think that is the story behind it. Is they were kind of like almost like modular homes. They were just like modular towns that were just kind of whipped up overnight. Because something people were gathering there for gold gathering, like you said.
Yeah, I've seen one. I think on like Mythbusters, where it was like an old like military base, like a community, like a town, and they had it all set up, home like real houses built, stick built, and paved roads. And for whatever reason, they abandoned this town where all the military people lived, and it still exists. It's still just 100% abandoned. And
you remember the name of it?
No, I don't remember the name of it. But if you probably if you Googled like abandoned military town in California, you could probably find it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But it looked really cool. Like I would love to go check something like that out. But my worry is though like squatters and like I would assume like maybe something like that is all gated off. I don't know, but people can jump fences, obviously. But yeah, so there you go. There you have it. There's our fun facts. Do you have any fun facts that you would like to fill us in on about California?
Oh,
perhaps the dating scene, Steve.
I don't know if it's so much a fact as it is more of a horror story, but
yeah. So I guess to fill the listeners in, you were thrust back into the dating scene a few years back and a couple years ago, and yeah. So I've personally heard some of these stories, but I thought maybe if you wanted to share anything, what it's like to be back on the market in your early 40s.
Yeah, I mean, for context, previously the last time I had been single was I was out here in California. It was when I first moved out, but that was like around 2009, 2010, long before dating apps. There was like websites you could go to. There was like Plenty of Fish and eHarmony, Match were all just websites, but I didn't even have a smartphone or anything when I moved out here. In fact, when I drove out here, I used an old school Garmin GPS.
Oh yeah, the one you like stick to your window or whatever.
Yeah, long before smartphones. So yeah, and I was still in my 20s too. So yeah, when I re-entered the dating scene a couple of years ago in my 40s, much different. Apps obviously took over, and also just I guess the way you communicate. One I guess sort of, it's not really a story, but just one event that it was kind of where it dawned on me. Was when I was out and I was talking to this woman, and she was younger, but I think she was still in like her 30s maybe. And I told her that, we had a good conversation and everything. And I told her that I'd like to, take her out or go out with her. I said, can I have your number? And she said, well, first of all, she told me that she wasn't actually single, which was surprising to me because, maybe I was reading it wrong, but it sure seemed like she was flirting with me.
And you found her on a dating site?
No, this was out at the bar.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so she said, well, I won't give you my number, but you can have my Instagram. And I honestly still wasn't even sure what Instagram was at that point.
How long ago?
Like maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
I know it'd been out a lot longer, but I
know you're not into social media. Yeah, I know.
I didn't even get back on Facebook for like 15 years. Last summer I got back on Facebook. Fun fact for dating, because I've been using all these like paid dating apps, and then someone told me, oh, there's a dating app or whatever on Facebook and it's free. So
there's a dating thing on Facebook?
Yeah. So after 15 years of basically just living off the grid, so to speak, or being out of social media, that's what got me back into Facebook was the free dating app, which really didn't, materialize to anything. But anyway, that's when it dawned on me. I was like, wow, because I thought back when I was, when we were in our 20s and you went out to the club and you asked a girl for a number, either you had a piece of paper or a napkin, right? And you had to borrow or bring a marker or a pen, or you had them write it down on your hand and then hope that you could read it the next day.
Right.
Because,
I'll rub it off.
I, like you, was very sweaty and usually rub it off.
Like you.
So I remember trying to make out the number. Like, is that an 8, or is it a 3?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was definitely different. And in terms of like the apps themselves, yeah, I mean, it really, I'll just put it this way. It felt to me like we have become
menu items.
Menu item, catalog items,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And we live in this day and age where you just order things off the internet, right? And then if you don't like it, you just send it back. And I feel like that mentality transferred into dating as well. Like, you start talking to someone and basically, you're giving them your review of yourself, right? And if you're lucky, they might meet up with you, whatever.
This is a weird concept. I'll say that.
If it's like one thing is off, then you're a defective product, and they want to send it back. Refund.
No. Yeah. But it's weird though. Like you said, like just, like back in the day, just bumping into somebody, naturally, maybe an acquaintance, a friend of a friend knows this person who's single, and like, you're like, oh, like we'll, meet up, or maybe go on a date, whatever. But yeah, like the whole idea of being cataloged on these apps for people to just be like, no, and you just, and it's like, oh, there goes Steve. Like, nope. Like it's weird that you can just be tossed away so quickly.
Oh yeah,
maybe that's a good thing, because I'm assuming those people are probably, relatively shallow. But so let me jump into like when you would spring a date, and you go out with somebody. Obviously, like the age range is going to kind of be all over the place, but I mean, within reason. But like probably like 20s, 30s, 40s. It could be kind of all over in there. Did you find like were people? I'm trying to think of the best way to ask this. Did they seem normal? Like, or have they turned into like this weird, like, person because they go out on all these little micro dates and meet people online, where like the conversation's genuine, or were they just kind of odd? Like, they just feel weird?
I don't think that has so much to do with the way you meet or the dating medium. I think it just really comes down to the person. And I mean, the dates that I went on, people, well, I should say people, women were generally, down to earth.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
I mean, usually you can kind of weed out the ones that aren't really in it for, I would say, genuine interest in meeting someone. You can weed that out just through like messaging, especially the ones that will start talking to you and say, well, here's my Venmo. And,
they just want some money for some reason.
Yeah. They'll be like, well, if you send me flowers, if you send me a gift, if you send me money, like I'll then I'll go out with you.
Isn't that some sort of, that's like some form of like prostitution then, isn't it? In a sense, pay me and I'll go out with you.
Well, I mean, I can't speak from personal experience, but I would think that when you pay for a prostitute, there's a transaction, you get something out of it, right? No, this was just, you would send them money and they don't have to go out with you.
I guess like, more of like an escort service in a way then, maybe. Like,
well, I mean, they would just ask for things. They would just ask for things, and guys would just send them money or gifts in the belief that they would get a date, but they never would actually get a date, because it's very easy. Like, what you get something from someone, and then it's very easy to just block them forever, so they can't ever contact you again.
Okay. Well, that just sounds mean.
So, oh yeah. No, I mean, that's not general. I mean, you ask about normal people. Well, I would say, yeah. I mean, there's, I mean, first of all, what's normal? But I would say in general, there's people on there that are just, everyday people that work and, take care of their family, take care of their kids if they have them, and are just hoping to meet someone that they can have fun with, that they can, build a relationship with, maybe build a life with. I mean, that was my general experience. I didn't usually end up going out with someone that was kind of like way off the spectrum.
Right.
You know? I did find though that I found that, you know, my biggest struggle with it is, again, I told you, you know, we're like catalog items, and if there's something wrong, like one little defect, right, they might send you back. Well, there were times when nothing was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went on dates where I really clicked with someone and it seemed wonderful. And we had, you know, even made plans for like a second date, and then they would just like completely disappear, you know, fall off the face of the planet. So, and again, a lot of that probably comes down to the person, you know, they're, you know, not everyone has a mature communication style, whatnot.
I guess I was looking for something a little juicier. Did you have any horror stories?
You want to get into that?
Yeah, I want to hear something terrible that might have happened.
Terrible.
Yeah. Did you have a real shit experience going out on a date with anybody?
Okay. Well,
there's got to be one.
What's that?
There's got to be one.
Got to be one terrible incident. Oh boy. I really have to do. Now, well, a lot of people probably want to know about like, have I gotten catfished?
Yeah. Yeah.
The answer is yes.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dear God, please explain.
Okay. Now I'm getting to the horror stories.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Yeah.
And my horror stories don't stem from dating apps, but from a matchmaking service that was way more expensive than any app out there. I mean, my first year being single, I was definitely I was like, okay, I'm busy, right? And I'm dealing with a lot emotionally, right? So I thought, well, I'll just try this matchmaking service. Then I don't have to deal with the apps and swiping and all that.
I have somebody else do the legwork and find someone.
Yeah. Find someone that, you know, and you do your little interview and everything. And then they send you potential dates and they talk about them. And it seems like, oh yeah, great. You know, it's like these people are vetted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Well, there was an instance where they matched me up with this one woman who, again, based on what they described and based on what I saw in the pictures, seemed like, okay, maybe there's some potential here. I drove an hour and a half to go meet this person, and she was there. But at first I didn't even recognize her because the woman sitting at the table looked to be about maybe 20 or even 30 years older than the picture that I saw. And I sat down, and I mean, immediately I was like, okay, obviously the age difference here is way more than I was expecting. And then on top of that, I'm very sensitive to like when people have, you know, halitosis and bad breath.
No.
And I was sitting across the table from her, and like just from the first hello, I was like, oh God.
Like, hello.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Whoo.
So yeah, so I kind of like figured out, okay, like how can I politely say that I don't.
Your breath stinks.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down at dinner. So I came up with something like, you know, I'm really busy. I'm not feeling well. I'm tired because I've worked so much. And she basically gave me a free pass. So I left on that one.
You're like, let's get some Moscow mules. They have a mint in them.
Yeah. There was another instance.
I think that would tickle Breeze's funny bone.
I'll tell you two more real quick.
All right.
There was another one where, again, I had driven an hour and a half. I was really looking forward to this one because, again, you know, these were vetted, and based on what I saw, I was like, wow, you know, like this. I was excited, right? I was interested. So I show up at the restaurant, and I'm dressed, you know, nicer than usual, right? I got pants on. I got like a button-down shirt on. I'm even wearing like maybe like kind of like a sporty overcoat type deal.
Oh no, you wore a little sport coat.
Yeah. Wow. So I was dressed up. I was wearing like dress shoes. You know, I was.
What kind of pants? It wasn't jeans, was it?
Just jeans. Yeah.
It was jeans and a sport coat. I don't know why it just screams like I don't know, like a Gordon Bombay, like a hockey coach or something.
Oh, it's
I like jeans in a sport coat. That's a favorite look of mine.
Is it?
Yeah.
Man,
oh yeah.
Maybe I need to look into that.
Well, I mean, what your vision of sport coat and what I'm describing might be different. But
all right.
Anyway, so I go into the restaurant and I go up to the the host stand, and there's a hostess behind there, and I say, "Hey, I'm here for the reservation for, you know, Steve and such, and the host looks at me, and she immediately has these, oh, I'm sorry eyes.
Oh no.
She's like,
she's been waiting for you.
Yeah. She's like, I'm so sorry to tell you. Yeah, she called about an hour ago and canceled. And keep in mind, I had just driven an hour and a half without traffic to get to this place. And unfortunately, because through this matchmaking service, you can't directly talk to the person or contact them until you're actually at the restaurant. So she had no way to tell me, and they had no way to tell me either that she canceled. And her reason for canceling was that it was just too far. Now, granted, I had just driven an hour and a half, and she actually was closer than me, and it was too far. So then it took me 2 hours to get home because there was traffic on my way home. So that was one. But you could see it in the hostess's face where she's just like having pity, And again, I'm in there and I'm kind of all dressed up and everything, and I'm feeling good, right? And it was just immediately like wind out of my sails.
I'm just thinking the contrast in emotion on the way there versus the way home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the way there, I'm kind of like happy, I got the radio on, I'm feeling excited, singing, I'm feeling good. And on the way home, I'm just in traffic, and I'm just like, bitching the entire time. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. One other one, real quick, was I was supposed to meet up with this woman in downtown LA. Even though I told the service, I said, please stop scheduling dates, because they actually set up the dates for you too. I said, please stop scheduling them in downtown LA, because I really don't want to face that traffic, especially given the track record with this company and the dates that hadn't gone very well. Sure enough, they scheduled one for downtown LA. Well, on the way there, I thought, well, I'm just going to call the restaurant, and ahead of time. And it's like, well, why didn't I call before I left? Well, the problem is they opened right at the scheduled time, so I had to at least start driving there, right? Otherwise, I never would have made it. So I called them right when they opened, and I'm maybe like 45 minutes out. And I asked them, I said, hey, I just want to make sure this reservation is still on. And whoever's talking to you comes back and says, oh, I'm so sorry. It was, canceled. I think it was scheduled for like a Saturday. And she's like, it was canceled a couple days ago. I was like, okay, well, I said, unfortunately this has happened before. So thank you for telling me. So I hung up and I turned around and I went home, and I was like, okay, at least I didn't like drive to downtown LA and face all that traffic for nothing. Well, then the matchmaking service calls me up the following Monday, and they're like, what happened? What happened? Why didn't you show up? I was like, I called the restaurant, and they said that it was canceled or had been moved or something like that. Mm-hmm. And apparently what happened is the restaurant messed up. The restaurant canceled the wrong reservation.
Oh,
like someone did call to cancel the reservation, but they canceled the wrong reservation. So when she looked at this person looked at the reservations, she thought that my reservation was canceled. Well, and unfortunately too, the woman that I was supposed to meet up with, she did show up.
Oh,
and she was also
she thought she got ghosted.
Yeah. So she did show up and thought that I just like flaked out, like I just didn't even bother to show up. And I told the matchmaking service, I was like, man, like that was definitely the restaurant's mess up. And I said, but how are we supposed to know? How are you supposed to contact each other? And they're like, well, would you still be interested in going out with her? I was like, sure. And then, it never happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, damn.
I will like sleep on this and think about some other stories, because I just.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's going to be more that after we end the show, you're like, oh, I should have told that one.
Well, when I'm on again, I can certainly. That, but I don't want to eat up too much time here.
Well, I was gonna say I want to move into the last bit of the show before we run out of time. Which is Breeze. If you're still there, are you still there?
Here.
Okay, there he is. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't want to talk over Steve's stories. We're here. We're ready to go.
I really want to try. I guess this is only going to work if you have seen any of the Alien movies.
I have seen number one. I've seen it once, I think, and I remember bits and pieces of it. I don't know if I've ever actually seen two, and I definitely haven't seen anything.
Well, I guess it's going to be me versus me, or I guess we'll see how many I get right.
I mean, I've never seen any of those movies, so.
What?
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was going to say, I heard you quote them. Yeah, all right.
I just wanted to get you with that. I wanted to hear you freak out when I said I didn't see any of them. Anyway, I saw one I kind of enjoyed. The first one I saw in the theater was Resurrection.
The worst one. Yeah.
Yeah. Winona Ryder and what's that guy's name with a gravelly deep voice though? From
I know you're talking
Bro.
about. Yeah, I can't.
He's
remember.
great.
Yeah.
He's fun in that. I don't know. I like him as an actor. He's a pretty cool guy.
He is
Anyway,
good.
so Alien. We're gonna go some trivia challenges here. We got some easy ones, and then we got some hard ones in there. So for some of our listeners, we'll throw some easy ones in there. So this one's gonna start easy. What's the name of the spaceship in Alien?
The Nostromo.
Yeah. Now, what was the original name of the spaceship before it was changed? This is like pre-production.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't go that deep.
I'm gonna let you guess.
Guess.
Well, Leviathan, Snark, or Icarus.
Ooh, Icarus sounds like it would have been a working title. Is that right?
You would think so, but it was actually called Snark.
Snark.
I don't know. It's so strange, but I kid you not. That was actually, before they changed it to the Nostromo.
Wow, it's like this is Ripley, last remaining survivor of the Snark, signing off.
Exactly. Right. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, what literary novel? Oh, that's dumb. We're going to skip that one.
Yes.
Well, you know who the director was, right?
Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
It was Ridley Scott?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say James Cameron. James Cameron was one of the ones that listed it here. I'm like, wait, what? ChatGPT got it wrong. ChatGPT said James Cameron. Which I find hilarious.
Wait. James Cameron might have been involved in number 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe he was.
Yeah. I think Ridley was 1, and then I think Ridley Scott came back for the newest version of it that they just came out with.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. All right. What's the name of the cat on the ship?
Jones.
Yep. Absolutely. Of course. Okay. Real trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Who was originally supposed to play Ripley before Sigourney Weaver was cast?
Oh man. Let me think.
Okay, I'll let you guess if you want.
I don't know the answer. I'm just trying to think of people in that age range that might have been.
I'll give you 3.
Please, yeah.
Susan Sarandon, Meryl Streep, or Jane Fonda.
Oh,
ooh.
Can I guess?
Yeah,
Can I guess?
Yeah, you guess.
There's a name popping in my head. I'm gonna go with Meryl Streep. So it's funny you said that because that was the name that popped in my head. It might be wrong, but I feel like I read this somewhere or just.
I could definitely.
You are correct.
Yes, I could definitely see that.
I was right.
Yeah, that's
great. I'm going to give you
that.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that was the one bit of thing I was like, oh, I didn't realize Meryl Streep was supposed to actually play Ripley. That's funny.
Absolutely.
I think she would have done. She probably would have done fine. It wouldn't have been the same. But
you imagine like Sigourney Weaver now is like iconic for that. Like she has a presence, and I feel like a lot of it was based. Was that like a breakout role for her? Probably, maybe.
Kind of, yeah. Like she had some other smaller roles before that, but yeah, that was definitely her biggest one up to that point.
Because that was before Ghostbusters. So
yes, yeah.
Oh, it was. That's right.
Yeah, because Ghostbusters was in the 80s, and Alien was in 79.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh,
yeah. Anyway, okay. So let's see here. Which real life material was used to create the slime on the alien creature?
Real life material for slime. Oh god, what did they use for that? I'm gonna guess. I'm trying to think of like the viscosity of it. Like it's definitely very sticky. Did it come from an actual animal?
No.
Okay. Then I have no idea.
I'll let you guess between silicone lubricant, KY jelly, or corn syrup.
Tell me they use KY.
They totally used KY jelly.
That's awesome. That's hilarious, dude. That's great. I'm never going to watch that. I'm never going to look at that the same again.
Never going to be the same.
Yeah.
That is
kinky ass aliens.
The xenomorph, you know, I mean, like, well, where's he?
Right.
The chest burster scene was kept secret from the actors to elicit genuine reactions. They probably already knew that one. Which cast member left the set in shock afterwards? Was it Tom Skerritt, Veronica Cartwright, John Hurt, or Harry Dean Stanton?
I think it was Tom, the captain.
It was actually Veronica Cartwright. She's the one who
the other girl.
left in shock. Yeah, she left in shock after there. Yep.
I forgot they did that, where they left. They didn't tell them they were going to do that.
Yeah, that was a great behind the scenes. I loved reading about that. The cleverness of that whole thing that only the actor and only the guy knew, only the person who was getting burnt. I forget the character name. One blanking out. It's been a long
Kane?
week. Yes, only he knew.
Yeah,
and everyone else just knew. I think the script said it was really vague, like something happens or something like that. Like it was a placeholder, and then that happened, and everyone's reaction was genuine. Tangential. What they also did it with Jurassic Park when he grabs the fence. The kids weren't really told a whole lot about that, and so their reactions were genuine. Like mess with the kids when he grabs the fence.
They did that too in It, the new version of It that came out 6-7 years ago.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the first time the kids saw Pennywise, they saved it he was kept out of sight from the kids for the longest time.
That's the Skarsgård, right? Who did that?
Yeah, Peter Skarsgård. Was it Peter?
One of the Skarsgårds.
Yeah, one of them.
One of them. It's like the Hemsworths. There's just so many of them.
Yeah.
All right. Which crew member on the Nostromo insists on getting a bonus for hazard pay due to the detour? Brett, Parker, Ash, or Dallas?
I'm going to say Parker.
Yep. You are correct.
What else?
Which crew member? Oh, this one's an easy one. Which crew member is revealed to be the android?
Oh my gosh. Ash.
Yeah. There you go.
Right now, people who have never seen Aliens are probably they've already tuned out.
Yeah, probably. All right.
Give me a couple more here. One more, and then we're going to wrap up.
What is the alien creature called by the crew in the movie?
Why it's called? I mean, it's a xenomorph.
Yes.
That's what they call it?
Nope.
Okay, they call it. They call it a demon. Or
they don't really call it anything.
That's the answer.
It doesn't have a proper name. The answer is D. It doesn't have a proper name.
Oh, they referred to it as a demon.
Yeah, I guess, but I think that ChatGPT is giving it looking for a name. But that's
actually a trick question. Thanks, ChatGPT.
It is a trick question. Yeah, well, hey, you got the other one wrong, AI. Which is really funny, right? It got the director wrong, so they're not replacing our jobs anytime.
No.
And last but not least, spoiler alert for a movie that is 40 years old. How does Ripley defeat the alien at the end of the film?
Oh, she blows out of the airlock.
Yeah, boy.
Oh my God! Actually, have we ever talked about that scene on the show before?
I feel like we have.
If maybe. But I always thought it'd been funny if I'll talk about this, then we'll wrap up. But when Ripley went back to get on the ship after she was getting ready to self-destruct the mothership, she had to go back for the cat. She lost the cat.
You can't lose a cat.
Yeah. In the meantime, the alien had had gone into the escape pod, the escape ship, and hid all intricately in these pipes and stuff. So when she came back in, she closed up the door, she left, she was gone. And the ship exploded, and the next thing you know, the alien is emerging from these pipes where it was hiding. I would have loved to have seen the security footage or something from the ship of the alien actually looking for the hiding place and getting into that position. Because how? Because it was in there, man. He wedged himself in there.
Well, he's covered in KY jelly. That's how he got it.
That's he's all lubed up.
That's it. Yeah. The real reason why.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, too funny. Too funny.
He spit on that thing.
Oh yes.
Oh, God. No.
Sorry.
We got to end the show with that. That's brilliant.
Yep. All right, guys. Steve, thanks for joining us for this episode.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in for another one, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thanks, all.